Hey guys, this is CK013 from WiseTake.com. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. You can also follow the WiseTake Twitter at Wise_Take. It's probably the best way to keep track of all the latest articles, to be notified. You can set up notifications there. Anytime I make a new video article, it always goes up on the Twitter, reminders of the live streams, etc. So definitely give it a follow. Hashtag owls up top. We like to see the owls up top. Anyway, I made this video because recently I had been in a contest and it kind of worked out good regarding contest selection and lineup construction within contest selection. So that's something that we always preach here. As much as as important as we believe it is, obviously, to build the right lineups and to pick the right players, a lot of things that go overlooked by new DFS players is the contest selection aspect, like putting yourselves in the right positions to win and to maximize your lineups when they're in there. So when you start, like if you think about it, if you don't have like a crazy bankroll like some of these other guys do, like there's a lot of pros out there who only play tournaments and they'll play these set $3 entries against 50,000 people and they'll win. But you got to remember, a lot of these people are able to do max entry lineups. They're able to do a ton. And not just that, but the lineups that they weren't able to get in those contests, they usually hedge in different contests. So they have like advanced strategies. It's not as easy as just loading up with 150 lineups and dumping it. But at the same time, either way, it still takes a big bankroll, right? There's a lot of strategy that goes overlooked that goes into the actual contest selection, and Patio Joe is really, really good for that kind of stuff. Patio Joe and Paulie both. Paulie is very good from a higher dollar GPP end, and Patio Joe is very, very good for you guys for cash games and when you start out. They do offer coaching packages on the website. You can check that under strategy and coaching. But anyway, that's not what this is about. I made this video because I wanted to show you an example of the importance of contest selection, and not just that, but I also wanted to show you the differences that you can, excuse me, the differences in the lineups that you may build depending on the contest you're in. If you're in a contest with less people, maybe you can go a little more chalky with your lineup build. If you're in a contest with more people, then you're gonna have to get more different because there's just more people that you have to beat. So anyway, I'm gonna pull up this first one I did. So this one here was a $65 entry into the MLB Knuckleball. So it's a 3-entry max. The max you could do in this is 3 entries. It's $65 each entry, and there's only 122 people. That's the most important thing I want you to understand. There was only 122 people. I got 5th, and my $65 won me $400 on this particular lineup. Now, I only did 2 lineups this day. Most of the time, I stick 1 to 3, and I'd rather like really focus in and build a solid 1, 2, or 3 lineups, and then put them in multiple contests that put me in the best position to win, then just make like 150 and throw some paint at the wall and see what sticks. And there's definitely an art to that for the people that are good. It's just not my thing. I'm not very good at that. I am better off just focusing and making my lineups limited and being wise with the contests that I select. So this contest I got 5th with 199 score, which isn't bad. It's okay, right? As you can see, I played Jacob deGrom, who was very chalky, 53.3%. And the reason I want you to look at this first is because if I go over here, I want to show you that same lineup, that 199.40 with deGrom, only won me $20 here. You know what I'm saying? It only won me $20. So in one contest, it won me $400 and got me 5th place. In another contest, I was 842nd with $20, and I won $20. So that's why it's important that we always stress, make sure your contest, like focus on your contest selection. Put yourself in the best position to win. So this was one lineup. The other lineup I did was I went a little more contrarian. I went with Gausman. And the reason I did that in this lineup is this contest was a $25 single entry, but there were 470 people in it. So obviously that's a lot more than the $65 knuckleballer I went with. So because there was more people, I figured I had to take a more contrarian lineup build approach. Still, 470 people is not that bad. Again, this $25 got me $200 and got me 8th place in a 470-man tournament. Whereas in the $7 squeeze with 40K to first, which looks great, 40,000 to first, awesome. But there's 33,613 people in there. There's just so many, and it only won me in that contest $25. So I got 9 more points in this lineup, exactly 9 more points with this Gausman lineup, and I only won $5 more. Still only 452nd. So listen, it could happen. And listen, if you take one down and you win the 40K, you could get lucky and do it, of course. And if you do it, that's great, and it'll keep you fueled. That's great. But how long are you going to last doing that? It's tough. And not just that, but don't you want to win more often? Don't you want to be more profitable in the long run? Like if you won 40 grand one time, And would it be cool if you just lost the rest? Now, granted, you have a bigger bankroll, you could plan a different strategy, but the chances of that happening, I'm going to be honest with you, they're not that great. It's just not how it works. You're better off playing higher dollar contests. You see some of these guys on Twitter, some of the pros that we respect, and we see them post these monster screenshots. A lot of the time, if you look closely, look how many people were in these contests. Okay, he won 100 grand, but the entry fee was $1,500, and there was only a couple hundred people in it. So it's like, so think about it. They're doing it. They're doing it on a higher level, and you can do it too. You don't have to. If you can't put $65 in one contest, that's fine. Start off with a $2 100 man. They have those all the time. They're not guaranteed. You have to make sure they fill, so get in a little early. But these are a good way to be able to play GPPs and work on your strategy, and also still you have a better chance of being profitable. You still need the lineup construction aspect, don't get me wrong. So that brings me to the next point. So I'm going to explain why I did one on one, why I did one on the other. So it's not going to happen every time where you get both of your lineups do well like this. I'm going to be honest. Usually one of my lineups does a lot better than the other one. This is a case where both lineups sit pretty well. So I thought it was a good time for a video. So I went with DeGrom in this one, as I said, 53.3%. So one thing I want to stress to you, and I say it all the time on the podcast if you're familiar, is I'm not so concerned with chalky players as I am with chalky lineup builds. And so what I mean by that is if I know there's a top tier of pitching that everybody's going to go to, that tells me the popular lineup build is going to be pay up for pitcher and then figure out the rest. So if I'm against less people, I think I can play that game. Out of 122 people, I felt comfortable with DeGrom. I felt that he was going to do well enough. And so I figured, okay, I'm going to play DeGrom in this because he's safer. There's only 122 people, so I don't need as high of a score as I might in like the $30,000 people contest, right? So I went with DeGrom. It worked out. He did well. Now, obviously, he was not as good of a play as Gausman that night because Gausman also got 52, and he was significantly cheaper, as you can see, 7,400. He was only 5.7% owned. So I put the lineup that had the more contrarian lineup build, and I put it in the contest that had more people because I felt it was needed. It was necessary. 470 people. I need to get a little different here. If I have DeGrom and 50% of the field has DeGrom, now 50% of 470 is a lot tougher to overcome than 50% of 122. So that's kind of why. That's what I wanted to explain. Now we can look at the lineup also, and you'll see that like I had a lot of the same core that night, which is why like I had JD Martinez and Pham, I believe, in both lineups. Yes, I had I had Pham, JD Martinez in both, and then I had Pollock in one and I had Stanton in the other. Too bad I didn't have them both in one lineup, right? But anyway, so and as you can see here, like the core carried me, and like I had some bad scores, right? Like these kind of scores, 3s, 9.2s, like they very rarely work when you're in a contest with 33,000 people in them. You'll very rarely be able to do this well, to get like fourth, to get top 10 or a large enough payout for it's significant. You might min cash a bunch of times, sure, but I think when you're playing those, your goal is to win as most money as possible, right? Like if all you were going to do is min cash, just play 50-50s. You have a better chance to win, and there's less people to beat, right? So, listen, we know GPPs are fun. GPPs are most likely one of the reasons that you came to DFS, that you came here to play it. I get it, but it's important. You can still play them. And like some people, I recommend playing cash games to help you build the base. A lot of people, they just don't want to. They're not good at it. They don't understand where the safe play is in this industry. I get it, especially for baseball. It can be tough. But at the very least, be wise with your contest selection. Patio Joe is great with bankroll management. That's a whole other issue, and you could certainly reach out to him for help with that. But at the very least, I just want to make this video just to show you guys the importance of contest selection and what I mean by maximizing. Again, these same two lineups, as you can see, the same two lineups, Gausman and DeGrom, won me a total. So I risked $14 here, and I only won back $45, right? Whereas I risked $65 with DeGrom, but I won back $400. And I risked $25 with Gausman and won back $200. So you want to talk about return on investment. Maximize your lineups. Put yourself in the best chances to win. Don't just go and listen to the fantasy riches and all that stuff. Like when you have a bankroll, you could take those chances. If you want to win 100 grand, work your bankroll up and enter a $1,500 entry contest with like 100 people. That's your best chance at winning 100 grand. But you want to win 100 grand by entering a $3 contest against 50 to 100,000 people. You can, but you can also hit the lottery. And I'll tell you what, if you hit the lottery, your payout's going to be bigger. You're going to make more than 100 grand in the lottery, right? So you're better off kind of playing the lottery. So that's just my 2 cents. Listen, always throw your contests in there. As you can see, I did. I still threw an entry in, right? But I'm not going overboard. That's not my bread and butter. What I'm going for is the 122-man contest. What I was going for is the 20-man. And I had these lineups in other contests. So I won a little more than that. I had a couple 100-mans that these same lineups were in that they did well in. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Just want to make a quick video just to kind of go over that because we posted it on Twitter, and the next day we had some questions from some of our members. So listen, guys, like we're always here to reach out. Stick around in the chat. When you see us on there, feel free to ask me a question. If you see me on there, you can IM me. That's completely fine. I'll get the message when I get it. If I don't answer right away, I probably just didn't get it yet. But anyway, we really appreciate your membership. And if there's anything we could do to help you out, let us know. And we're going to try to make some of these videos when we can, when there's opportunity. I don't want to force it, but like if there's an opportunity or if something happened and it's a great chance for it, we're going to try to do some of these. But I know Patio Joe had a few that are great. If you haven't seen Patio Joe's, go to MLB videos. And make sure you check those out because Patio Joe has a quick intro series. Just 3 videos. It kind of shows you what he's doing. But anyway, guys, hope this helped. I'd love to get some feedback. Hit us up on Twitter at @wise_take, and of course at CK_013 is mine. So anyway, guys, for the entire Wise Take family, #owls up top, and we're out.
Yeah.